welcome back to Drinking by Myself. I'm Emma and I'm very late for leaving the house. I have to go to a party, haven't done my hair yet, haven't even had any dinner yet. So I thought I would use this time while I'm going to do my hair to do a book tag for you. This is the Bookish Boxes and Buzzwords tag. It was created by Lizzie Faye Loves Books. It's just a little fun one that I've been enjoying watching other people do because it's all about like the different things that draw us to books, and it's just, I think, quite interesting like how different everyone's are. So question number one is an easy one. This is your go-to genre or type of book. Also, the mirror in this room where I am is not close enough to the plug, so I like really have to stretch. Am I even going to be in this shot while I do this? Emma, I should put the camera the other side, obviously. Is this better? I don't know, let's try. My favourite genre mainly is just literary fiction. I know that's very vague. I love books where the characters are more important than the plots. I love books that are slightly strange, quirky, like unusual premises. I also completely love psychological thrillers. So that's kind of the different end of the scale. That's like all plot driven, but those are great. So those are my two favourite genres. Question number two is, which retellings are you drawn to? I went on a complete like Greek myth retelling binge earlier this year and that was great fun. I'm not generally huge into fairy tale retellings. I know they're super popular and there are some that are done really, really well, so I don't rule them out, but it's not like, I know for a lot of people fairy tale retellings are like one of their buzzwords they would go for, whereas I'm not totally bothered. Retellings in general I'm often quite wary of. I'm not always sure if I want to like hear another author's take of beloved characters, but having said that, I'm currently reading The Other Bennet Girl, which is a Pride and Prejudice retelling from Mary Bennet's point of view, and I'm loving it. I think it's done really well. I think it just like, it's a difficult thing to pull off, to get it right, and Janice Hadlow, who wrote The Other Bennet Sister, has done a really good job of making it feel like Jane Austen's voice. I'm way too far away from the mirror to be doing this well. Question number three is lifestyles or careers of the book characters. That's interesting. I'm not sure I really thought about that before. It's always fun reading about characters who work in publishing, just because I work in publishing, but it also can be super frustrating if they don't do a good job of it. Like, when it's relatable, then that's really fun, but it's so obvious when it's written by somebody who knows nothing about publishing, because you're like, no. I guess I do like reading about fake famous people. I know that's something that Books and Lala spoke about something that she hates in books, and I hadn't really thought about it before, but actually when I did think about it, I thought I actually really enjoyed that. So obviously there's The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six, the really famous ones at the moment on BookTube, and I loved both of those. I really liked The 13th Tale, which is about this like reclusive famous author. I really liked Trumpet by Jackie Kay, and that's about a fictional famous jazz musician. Yeah, I just really like that. I think it adds something really fun to a book, because I guess fame is like the opposite of why I like reading about people who work in publishing. It's so unrelatable. It's something that I've never experienced and don't know anyone who's experienced and can't even imagine at all what it must be like, so it's quite fun reading that angle. Question number four is places or settings that you're drawn to. I really love reading about books set in Oxford. I spent a year living in Oxford when I did my masters and I absolutely loved it there, and then I did just start reading. I started like seeking out a lot of books that were set in Oxford. So House of Birds was one of them, which was gorgeous. Tin Man set in Oxford, also lovely. It's just such a beautiful city, so it just really lends itself to these like gorgeous romantic storylines. And also it's fun, I mean anywhere. I'm drawn to reading books set anywhere that I've lived or that I know really well, because it's so fun, like even just reading the road names and kind of watching a character walk down a path that you know really well, because you can imagine it so much more so than about new far off places I don't know about, because I like being able to picture it. Maybe I'm just not imaginative enough to like be able to summon the image myself. Question five is relationships you enjoy reading about. So a really big buzzword for me is sisters. I absolutely love reading about sister relationships and all kinds of sister relationships, whether they're like really close sisters. I love reading about that. I have a really close relationship with my sister, so that's fun. Or whether they're like super competitive, like dark, toxic sister relationships. Those are also just really fun to read about. I don't know why, I think there's something so like uniquely dark about a bad sister relationship that I just love. So sisters is my main buzzword. Also just female friendships I love reading about. I'm gonna disappear by my strangers for a second. I'm not like big on reading romance in general. I don't like love reading romance stories, but I do like love stories when they're really well done, and I particularly like reading queer love stories between two women in particular. And also I love, what's the best way to describe it, relationships like sort of parental relationships between people that aren't actually parent and child. So you know, just like a really close, friendly older figure who takes someone under their wing. That's the way we describe that. So like in Where the Crawdads Sing, which I just read, there's the young girl Kaya, who's the centre of the story, and there's this lovely couple who live in the community called Jumpin', and I can't remember his wife's name, but it might be Mabel. And just the really lovely way that they look after Kaya without always even like letting her know that they're looking out for her. So they let her kind of, she survives by selling them fish that she catches, even though we know as the reader that that fish is no use to them. But they buy it from her as their way of looking out for her. And as she grows up, there's all these different ways that they're there for her, and it's just this really, really special relationship. So yeah, things where it's like a sort of parental relationship, like someone taking somebody under their wing and caring about them in this just like very sincere way. Adoptive parents of any kind really. In their little life, there's a very strong adoptive parent relationship with the main character, and it really just like makes me cry. Number 6 is buzzwords in the title of the book. Okay, so everyone like makes fun of books that have girl in the title, but actually I usually tend to like them. I mean, even I roll my eyes at them a bit now just because they're so overdone, but I do like psychological thrillers, as I said, and for a long time anything that had the word girl in the title I was probably going to enjoy. Having numbers in the title seems to be a big trend at the moment. They've just announced Buzzwordathon, the next round of Buzzwordathon, and that one, the buzzword is having letters in the title. It does seem like it's quite a big trend at the moment, and I guess I tend to enjoy those. Question 7 is things on book covers that draw you in. Ooh, that's a hard question. So psychological thrillers always have quite a distinct type of style that I am drawn to because I like that genre. So you get like the bold, brightly coloured text against a dark background, and there might be some shattered glass or something. I usually know I'm going to enjoy those. At the moment, just loving like really beautiful covers, like very floral, intricate covers, like The Confession. I'll put that up on screen. That has a gorgeous cover. The proof I just picked up of Animals at Lockwood Manor, which I showed off in Friday's video. I'll put that on screen too. The Mercies, also one coming out, it's got a gorgeous cover. Just like really intricate, beautiful covers at the moment really catch my eye. I think it's more about that, like the general aesthetic, rather than particular items on book covers. I can't think of anything in particular I would look for, but especially I also like when it's a book that's going to be quite dark but has a very pretty cover. So something like the Roanoke Girls I'm thinking of. Hope I'm picturing it right, but I'll put that up. I think that has a really floral cover, and it's actually like a super disturbing book. Question 8 is non-fiction buzzwords. So what kind of non-fiction are you interested in? Feminism is a big one. I like to read feminist non-fiction. Women, but that's the same kind of thing. I'm not a huge non-fiction reader. Even about topics that really interest me, I often just like really struggle to get through non-fiction books. I don't know why. The most recent one that I absolutely loved was 3 Women, but that's because it was literally written like as if it was a novel. Like if someone didn't tell you it was non-fiction, you could just believe it was a brilliant novel. So I guess it's non-fiction that's like a story rather than just like a ton of facts. So I don't know what the buzzword would be, but like story, I guess. If it sort of says on the back like this is her story, I'm more likely to read it. Question 9 is medical or physical conditions of characters. That's an interesting one. A really cliche one that I really enjoy is memory loss of any kind, for whatever reason. Though I'm very fussy about it. So a lot of books that do it really annoy me. Like Before I Go to Sleep, I really didn't enjoy, even though that's like a lot of people's favourite memory loss thriller. But I really liked, what's it called? The woman, not The Woman in the Window, the one before it, The Girl on the Train. I really liked The Girl on the Train. That's got like great use of memory loss. I think that can be a really fun plot device, even though it is quite cliche. It has been quite overdone. When it's done well, I think it's great. Question number 10 is time of year or time in history or the future that you're drawn to. Okay, ooh. So time of year, like autumn, winter, all the dark seasons. History, I tend to prefer present day books rather than history. Future, if it's like a dystopian future, I like. So I like things that are set in the very near future rather than like some ridiculously far off time. And if it is going to be set in the past, then kind of like 60s to 80s kind of thing rather than further back than that. I'm not a big historical fiction reader. And then there's 2 bonus questions. So bonus number 1 is just, are there any other bookish boxes or buzzwords that you haven't mentioned yet? So I talked about sisters is my big one, thrillers, queer love stories, dystopian, feminist, time travel I haven't talked about. I really like unusual ways of looking at time travel. So something like the first 15 Lives of Harry August is a really unusual time travel book where it's just a man who just lives his life over and over again, but because of that there's kind of this like way of time traveling or passing messages through time, because there's a few people who live their lives on repeat, and so if you meet somebody when you're really old, then you die and you're born young, and then you can pass that message on to somebody from the past, and then when they die they can pass it through the past. So that was really interesting. Stuff like that, like ways of playing with time, is really fun. And the second bonus question is, are there any buzzwords that put you off reading a book? And I guess, you know, like there's genres, like if something is really heavy on it being a romance, that would put me off. Definitely I get put off, there's kind of a bit of a, went through a bit of a trend of thrillers that were focused around sexual assault cases, and the kind of, it was, the crux of it was in like who's telling the truth, he said, she said. The book He Said, She Said I actually really liked. I thought it was going to be like that and it wasn't, but that kind of thing. It seemed like there was quite a phase of that, and I just am not interested in that. I don't, those are the kind of stories we need to be telling, so that would put me off. And anything that's like really high fantasy, if it's talking about magic and witches and dragons, that's gonna put me right off. So there you go, I'm ready to leave the house, and those are all of my bookish buzzwords. So do leave comments letting me know what buzzwords like really attract you to a book or really put you off a book, because it might be that some of the things I've said you guys are like, ew, grown, no, never. And of course, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel because I post new videos twice every week. See you next time, bye!